Today, Donald Trump arrested in New York. Historic scenes, unprecedented. A former president in a courthouse charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. For the first time today, we saw the full case against Trump. The seal lifted on the indictment and the evidence laid bare. And this case should disturb you whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat or indifferent, whether or not you hate Trump with all the passion you can muster, or whether you have a MAGA hat. This is unquestionably a politically motivated abuse of the criminal justice system. And this isn't to say Trump doesn't have a strong case to answer in Georgia, where he's being investigated for voter fraud and attempts to interfere with the 2020 election. And it's not to say there isn't a strong case against him for failing to secure classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, or even in the civil suit where the Trump Organization overinflated its property values. But in this first case, where Trump was today arrested, fingerprinted and arraigned in his hometown of New York in what has amounted to a global spectacle, here the evidence against him is lacking and the case is flimsy. Let's look at the detail. Trump was charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records as part of an orchestrated scheme to influence the 2016 presidential campaign by paying hush money to stop negative stories about his sexual affairs from hitting the news. The 34 counts each relate to an individual business record. It's the 34 payments to Michael Cohen to reimburse him for the hush money. The indictment reads, the defendant, Donald J. Trump, repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. And the indictment detailed three payments: $130,000 paid to porn star Stormy Daniels through fixer Michael Cohen. The second payment, $150,000 to former Playboy model Karen McDougal by American Media Inc., and that's the parent company of the National Enquirer. And a $30,000 payment to a former Trump Tower doorman who falsely claimed that Trump had fathered a child out of wedlock. As I said, these payments were made to kill negative news stories ahead of the election. Trump reimbursed Michael Cohen for the hush money payments, but disguised them as legal expenses. This is all true, but it's not a crime. Now, no journalist would agree with the nature of hush money payments. They're the antithesis of our aim to tell the public about political scandals or corruption. These payments were a corrupt way to stop the public learning about Trump's extramarital and grubby affairs. As unethical as they are, as horrible as they are, they're not illegal. Hush money payments are not illegal. And we have here a Democratic, and I say that in the sense of his political leanings, a Democratic prosecutor is trying to twist and turn these unethical payments into criminal conduct. And this is why commentators from left-wing CNN to the Wall Street Journal are saying that the case is weak. Prosecutor Alvin Bragg claims that Trump falsified the records in order to conceal another crime. The indictment reads that Trump falsified the business records, and I quote, with intent to defraud and intent to commit another crime and aid and conceal the commission thereof. But Alvin Bragg doesn't go on to explain what crime Trump is trying to conceal. And Trump hasn't been charged with a more serious crime. As the Wall Street Journal reports, here's the big question that Mr. Bragg still hasn't adequately answered. Where is the second crime? They write, recall that falsifying business records is a misdemeanor in New York. It's a felony only if the books were cooked with an intent to commit another crime or to aid or conceal the commission thereof. When Mr. Trump worked out this reimbursement arrangement with Mr. Cohen, what other crime was he allegedly trying to cover up? Now, Bragg can build a case about misuse of campaign finances and breaching the cap on political donations. He can base this on Michael Cohen pleading guilty to making an illegal financial contribution. But this is a weak case.